Well, obviously, starting on the offense and quarterback was a tough one. Cade Klubnik is going to be my pick for All American quarterback. You could have picked a number of other players, but Cade Klubnik to me is someone who has a lot of excitement heading into the 2025 season. You look at, he learned quite a bit from last year. You look at his struggle early against Georgia. I think a lot of people kind of counted him out, and he bounced back in a big way. You look at the Texas game in the college football playoff, it showed you the growth that he made throughout the season. He did a lot of good things for the Clemson Tigers. He got a lot of chemistry with his wide receivers, and he returns all three of them for this year. And it's a big reason why Clemson is going to have a lot of success. Running back was also kind of a tough position, but to me, Jeremiah Love and Nicholas Singleton stand out the most. These are two guys with tremendous athleticism. Now, Jeremiah Love is explosive. We've seen him do a number of hurdles, has the explosiveness to pull away from people. Nicholas Singleton's a little bit different. He's not going to hurdle anybody. His legs are massive. He's going to run through people more so than run around them, but he also has the ability to break away from defenders. He has that big time speed. He can get out in the open, and it's really tough to catch him once he gets free. Now, the wide receivers and tight end, and then I did do an all purpose one. We'll start with the wide receivers: Jeremiah Smith, Jordan Tyson, and Elijah Surratt. Now, again, you can make an argument that Ryan Williams should be on here. I think that Ryan Williams had a couple of big games. Other than that, I need to see more from him. Now, I will say that he definitely deserves to be in this conversation, but I'm going to go with Elijah Surratt. You've seen more proven production from him, and especially on Indiana, where people don't really know a lot about that team. They know the big names and they kind of try to take him away. He had a big year, and he was a big reason why Indiana had a lot of success. Jordan Tyson, same thing. Now, Arizona State hopes that he is going to be healthy for the 2025 season, for the entire 2025 season, and they should have another fun run ahead this year. Jeremiah Smith, not really much explanation needed there. An absolute star, one of the best players in college football, going to have a big year. His teammate in tight end, Max Clare, to me was the obvious pick for this position. You could have gone with Eli Stowers, obviously from Vanderbilt, but I think Max Clare kind of gets overlooked because he came from Purdue. I don't think a lot of people are giving him a ton of attention, but he is someone that has tremendous ability, and he's going to be a great fit in an offense that hasn't really featured the tight end in some years. So it's going to be fun to see what he can do in that offense. An all purpose guy, I went with Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards is lightning in a bottle. When you get him the football, teams are worried about what he's going to do. He's that good. He has the explosive ability to break out big plays. And with DJ Giddens gone, he is going to be the feature player in that offense. Edwards is a phenomenal player. He maybe doesn't have that size, but this is a team that's going to get him out in space and see what he can do. Offensive line, again, a lot of positions. You had a number of players that deserve to be in that conversation. Now, it's just offensive line. I didn't go with any guard, center, tackle. As you'll see, I have multiple tackles in this list. Spencer Fano, a great player for Utah. Utah is going to get back on track, I think, this year, and Spencer Fano is going to be a big reason why. Cage Casey from Boise State. Everyone talks about Ashton Jeanty and what he could do, and it's obvious that he was very talented and extremely explosive, but the offensive line deserves a lot of credit as well. That's an offensive line that moved people around, and not just group of five talent. They did it against Oregon. They did it against a number of other teams. They deserve a ton of credit. Cage Casey is a huge reason why they had success. Parker Brailsford coming back to Alabama is going to help them tremendously. This is a team that's looking to bounce back under Kalen DeBoer in year two, and he is going to bring a ton of leadership, a ton of experience, and he has a bright future as well. He followed DeBoer from Washington to Alabama, and now he's going to be a star with the Crimson Tide. Notre Dame's offensive line deserves a ton of recognition for the ability to battle through adversity. This is a group that fought through a lot of injuries last year, and they're doing the same thing this year. Charles Jagasa is injured right now. I don't know when he's going to be coming back, but Emil Wagner deserves to be in this list. He is a very physical player for Notre Dame, and Jeremiah Love is going to love exactly what he has coming back up front, and he's going to be really fun because of that group. Francis Manoa from Miami. This is a guy who has started every game since he's come to Miami. He did not take long to get into the starting lineup, and he's a big reason why this offense feels confident. This is one of the best offensive lines that Miami has ever seen. And it's one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in college football. He is a big reason for that. And in what should be his final year of college football, he's hoping to make it to the playoff after coming up short last year. Next, we'll go to the defense. The defense is full of some familiar names. Now, we'll start with two Clemson guys in TJ Parker and Peter Woods. This is just going to be defensive linemen. It's not in defensive end, edge players, defensive tackles. It does just work out that there's 2 and 2. TJ Parker and Peter Woods are going to lead what is going to be one of the best defensive lines in college football. Clemson is stacked at this position. They are going to be really good, and it's going to help the linebackers who are also super talented behind them. Parker had a phenomenal season in 2024. Peter Woods, if he stayed healthy, would have done the same. Now, if he can stay healthy, he's at his more natural position on the inside instead of having to be on the outside. Part of that has to do with bringing in Will Helt, but Peter Woods is going to show us exactly why he could potentially be a top 10 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Zane Durant doesn't get as much love as I think he deserves. He doesn't have the size that maybe Peter Woods does on the interior, but he has the explosiveness, has a very quick first step, a lot of power in his frame. Even though he might be a little bit smaller than some of your traditional defensive tackles, he has the ability to win with leverage, to win with power, and he is an absolute terror for the Nittany Lions. Colin Simmons, by the way, is going to be back next year too. The fact that he's already an All-American speaks to his talent, speaks to his abilities, and it's going to be fun to watch him for yet another season. He's trying to get Texas, or at least help Texas, to get to the national championship game, get back to the college football playoff, and his explosive abilities are going to help that tremendously. His teammate Anthony Hill is going to help that a lot. Anthony Hill is a tremendous talent. He's going to be a high draft pick in the 2026 NFL draft, and he's going to love having Colin Simmons back. Now, this is a defensive line that's set on the edges, but they need to figure out who they're going to play at defensive tackle. They brought in multiple transfers, but Anthony Hill is going to get them up to speed. He's the leader of that defense. He has big time ability, and it's going to be fun what he can do at the next level. You look at what he's done so far, and he has a lot of great football ahead of him as well. Whit Weeks from LSU, a tackling machine. The defense for LSU has to get better if they want to get to the college football playoff, if they want to win a national championship, but they do have a guy in Whit Weeks that's going to help that. He's a leader of this group. He's a vocal leader. If you watched Netflix's Any Given Saturday, you saw exactly what kind of guy he is. He's a guy who wants to win. He's competitive. He's a vocal leader. He gets guys into position, and he's going to be fun to watch for the Tigers once again. Kyle Lewis isn't your traditional linebacker. He doesn't have, what most people probably grew up watching, which is, a 6'4", 250-pound linebacker. Kyle Lewis comes in at 225 pounds, and honestly, sometimes it feels like 225 is pretty generous. This is a guy who is a little bit on the leaner side, but that doesn't stop him from being disruptive. They don't just line him up as a guy in pass defense. They don't ask him to play out in space primarily. They will do that. They are going to let him pretty much have free range of where he wants to go, but he is disruptive. He is able to wreak havoc in an opposing backfield, and even though he's not the biggest guy, he's going to find ways to get around his blocker. He's going to find ways to make plays, and Pitt's linebacker group is going to be stacked once again. Kyle Lewis is going to be the spotlight, the headliner of that group. CJ Allen for Georgia, as if Georgia doesn't have enough talent, and honestly, I'm surprised. This is the first Georgia Bulldog I had on my list, but CJ Allen is a star. He's going to be really fun to watch for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are they have some good talent, some good veteran talent, but they also have a lot of young guys that might play this year. Allen will have to play more of a leadership role, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with that. Finally, we'll go to the defensive backfield, the secondary. We'll start with Chandler Rivers. I don't think a lot of people are giving Chandler Rivers the respect he deserves. A first-team All-ACC selection. He has played multiple positions for the Blue Devils, and he really thrived in Manny Diaz's system last year. You look at what he's able to do as a cornerback, as a nickelback. They move him around quite a bit. He has the ability to make big plays. and he's going to do it again. This is a Duke defense that is going to be a problem, and a big reason is because of their secondary. Chandler Rivers is going to play a huge role. He's a phenomenal player that's going to shut down half of the field, and Duke has the flexibility to move him around. If one guy is tearing them apart, they're going to move him to that side and find ways to shut that player down. Chandler Rivers is an exciting player that, again, does not get enough recognition, but has big time ability. Coy Parrish had a big year as a freshman, and we're seeing some freshmen really step up. You look at guys like Colin Simmons, Jeremiah Smith. Those are guys that stepped in right away and played at a high level, and people talk about them all the time. Not as many people are talking about Coy Parrish. Yes, he still gets plenty of recognition, but I think they kind of overlook him, especially when you play the same position as Caleb Downs. Now, Coy Parrish could play both ways this year. He already plays defense and special teams. Throwing him on offense, if you're looking to get a Heisman run out of Coy Parrish, it's definitely there. He has the talent to do it. He has the skill set to be a phenomenal dual threat on both sides of the ball. You look at what he's capable of doing. He is someone that's going to have an impact on the Minnesota team. And if it's on offense and defense, great. If it's on all three facets of the game, even better. Caleb Downs is going to steal the spotlight, though, and for good reason. Caleb Downs is, to many people, a top two player and maybe the best player in college football. And the argument could be made that the other guy that's competing for that is Jeremiah Smith on his own team. Ohio State, even with Julian Sayin taking over at quarterback, is still stacked. And I think Julian Sayin is going to have fun. The defense should be fun to watch as well, even though the defensive line is going to have to figure some things out. Having Caleb Downs back gives you a ton of flexibility. You can move him around the field, you can put him at different positions, and that's kind of the theme with this secondary. You can pull guys from their current position, put them in other positions if they need help, and you're going to find a lot of success in that strategy. Now, D'Angelo Pons isn't the biggest guy. He's not going to be a guy that wins one-on-one battles purely based off size. He has learned to play really well with his positioning, with his hands, and he understands the leverage he needs to use in order to make big plays. And he's done it at James Madison, and now he's doing it at Indiana. Yes, some bigger receivers are going to take advantage of him and be able to make plays. That's just going to come with the territory of being a smaller corner. But the fact that he's done what he's been doing for years now speaks to his abilities. He's a very skilled player who, even though he's a little bit undersized, he's going to be on an NFL roster because teams know that he understands how to use his frame to his advantage. He's going to lose some of those natural battles that you expect, but he's going to win more than he loses. And then finally, Michael Taaffe. This is a guy who I think has a ton of ability. I think that he has a skill set that it's kind of that like work really hard and make it so that you're putting in more effort than the guys that you're facing. And it'll be fun to watch what he can do once again. This is a guy who you really have to root for. The former walk-on turn potential All-American. He is someone that it's easy to like him. It's easy to root for him. And it'll be fun to see how he repeats upon the success that he had last year. And Texas is absolutely stacked on defense. He's not going to have to do it by himself. Even within his own secondary, a guy like Malik Muhammad is going to help him a lot as well. But Michael Taaffe is an absolute star for that secondary, and Texas is in good hands. Now, I'm curious to hear what you all have to say about who is left off this list, who should be on it, who should not be on it. That's going to be a great conversation. It's fun to talk about All Americans, and it's going to be exciting to see who all in the comments deserves to be on this list. As always, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.